folks, as you can tell, we are finally live now. Sincere apologies for being as late as we are tonight. We just had an emergency issue happen to come up on my side, so that's why we happen to be a little bit late. And by I, of course, I mean Jordy Carraher. And we welcome you to a double feature tonight in the Canadian eMotorsports Network Formula One Series. And we kick things off with the Austrian Grand Prix, and we actually join, as you can see, under safety car conditions, as we're watching on board with Corbin McCauley right now. Looks like Colby Luca is leading this race here right now. Or actually, we may be on board with the race leader, Colby Luca, which makes sense as the safety car is immediately ahead of him. So I had the wrong link there. I know Corbin is streaming, but we've got Colby Luca's link up right now, which I mean, probably not a bad thing to have the leader up as he heads into pit lane. And it looks like he's going to take this opportunity to get himself a free pit stop. And I will have Regan McCauley joining me shortly. I'm just kind of, in the interest of full disclosure, still kind of figuring things out on the fly. Just didn't want to miss too much more time, if that makes any kind of modicum of sense here. Because, of course, it is a double feature here tonight.
I was in the lead by a good 12-13 seconds.
We want to make sure that we've got everything right here. So, again, Luca rejoining here. And so we'll do our best to get you up to date here as soon as possible. Again, just getting a couple of different angles up right now. And just, as I say, trying to get live in real time here, which is never, of course, the easiest thing when you feel like you're under the gun a little bit. As we're on lap 12 of 36. Should have one more lap, I think, under safety car conditions. But we will just see here. As, again, I go ahead to try and summon Mr. Regan McCauley here. Just give me a moment. We should have him relatively shortly, I think, on what's been a rather crazy night already. And let's just see what we can do here. Hopefully we'll be able to get online here sooner rather than later. Or get him on board, I should say. Okay, so I think we're probably just waiting for the man of the hour right now. And in the interest of full disclosure, as you can see, we've begun lap 13 of 36 here at the good old Red Bull Ring, 4.2 kilometer circuit, the shortest that we've got on our particular calendar in this series. As again, we're watching from, yeah, that is Colby Luca's perspective we're seeing. We'll cut over to Corbin McCauley, who finds himself down in 10th and with a 3-second time penalty on top of that. As evidently, I would say my system has tried to do an update here while I was gone, or at least since the last time I used it. So, again, figuring things out on the fly. Safety car in this lap is what we're seeing. As again, we're just trying to get everything to go live. So, looks like it will be, see, I'm not even sure if I've got a visual on the leader right now. As you see, Luca's down in 7th as we're back to green flag racing as soon as we get over the line. And it looks like, yeah, we are back green here to begin lap 14. And we'll see if Luca tries to make some moves here right away, trying to target both Darcy Ford and Mike Greathouse, battling for 5th place right ahead of him on track. And again, I can't see any higher than that right now. I will try and pull Jason Butler's video in here right now just to see if that'll help me out to get a little bit further up the leaderboard. Prior to the safety car, Colby Luca was about 10 seconds up on the field, but just unfortunate circumstances there for the number 53 Aries Racing driver. As again, we're working diligently to get as many driver feeds live as possible. Of course, the byproduct of my lateness and inability to get back in time is, of course, the fact that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to get in on the actual lobby itself. So, as we did a couple weeks ago, we're going to try and rely on various driver feeds. And we see Jason Butler down in 11th place now as we get what I would presume to be a snap filter on his particular visual. But again, Butler finds himself down in 11th. Let's see if Michael Dimitrov is online here. That would be absolutely fantastic if he was, but not 100% certain on that. And no, confirmation that he is offline right now. So, we'll try and get back to Colby Luca here as we're on lap 15 of 36 here now. Looks like Ty Higginbotham's worked his way up into 6th place there, according to that little mini leaderboard we've got. And yeah, it's actually Corbin McCauley's feed that we're looking at right now, so apologies on that as DRS is enabled here to begin lap 16. And now we'll get back to Colby Luca, who I think I probably just have to flip the names on these streams so I actually know who I'm looking at. So let's go ahead and do that as Luca runs a little wide coming out of the turn. And again, as you see, Luca up into 5th place, albeit with a 3-second time penalty to his name as well. And it looks like Luca's coming up onto the back of Darcy Cudmore here. As again, we're just about at half distance now. Just trying to figure out what we've got. And what I've got is the color commentator here, which is absolutely fantastic. Although I'm just kind of realizing he probably cannot hear me at the moment. So let me just kind of rectify that on my side. That way, you know, he'll know what I'm talking about as well. Again, just a little bit of a calamity here as we get everything sorted out tonight. Okay, I think we're back. I don't know why he can't see my gameplay right now, but let's just see if we can get his feed into the broadcast first off, as that's of course the most important thing in all of this. And let's just see, do we have a color commentator?
We do.
We do! Now, the color commentator needs a feed to color commentate on as we rapidly approach, again, because of the calamities tonight, we rapidly approach the halfway point of tonight's Austrian Grand Prix. That's where we are at the moment.
Oh no, I've been analyzing the entirety of the first half. So if you need any information, I've got it for you.
Feel free to summarize, vamp, take whatever time you need as I try to, make things somewhat viewable here. So I will let you take the reins here, my friend.
Yes, sir. So Mason Pope got on the pole for this Austrian Grand Prix, and on the start there was a little bit of mayhem, bit of a mishap. Mason Pope didn't have the greatest start at all, and he got into a bit of a mishap between Corbin McCauley and Jason Butler going into turn one, and what ended up resulting, Mason Pope spins around turn one, so definitely not the start he needed, and eventually Colby Luca would go on to be the leader for a while, and Corbin McCauley started making his way up through the field up to even second place. Unfortunately, though, about one or two time penalties screwed him over, which did not help whatsoever. And then on the same lap, at some point, it appears that he ended up spinning twice. So again, that was a bit of unfortunate luck there in his end. And a safety car even had to happen. I believe Darcy Cudmore might have been potentially involved by the looks of it. I know two cars were definitely spun around, and there is a
speaking of spun around, yeah, brief
Yes.
caution there. Anyway, you go ahead as we're on lap 19.
Yeah, a safety car came in. That definitely shook things up. And yeah, Colby Luca went from the lead to now being, you can see there on the feed, in fourth place with a 3-second time penalty. Corbin McCauley again with another time penalty. Cody Cudmore also being hinted some bad luck there. So yeah, a couple other front end leaders have included guys like, actually about that, maybe getting interrupted by something. Yeah, virtual safety car.
Indeed so. Not 100% sure where things have happened as we try to get some answers from the three feeds that we're looking at. But none of those three are quite at the head of the field, so I don't have that immediate result in front of me or that immediate classification. Again, it is still a VSC situation now, lap number 20 of 36 in this one. And let's just see if it's going to turn into a full safety car or not. You'd think it would have done it by now, but hard to say.
The first time around it was a virtual safety car, but eventually turned into a full one. So this time around we'll have to see here. No, it's ending.
Yeah, so whatever happened must have gotten at least virtually cleared up, as we're back to racing now, on board with the aforementioned Corbin McCauley in fourth, trying to chase down Colby Luca there in third. And I don't know about you, Riggs. I remember hearing that there was weather in qualifying. Are we about to potentially have some more here? It's sure looking overcast there at minimum.
Yes, according to some of the communications from the drivers, there was speculation that there would be some weather concerns for the, we'll say the second half of the race for sure, starting off a bit dry, but then eventually we may get a series of showers to end off this race, kind of like Miami in a way, except this time around it's almost more like a jump scare in a sense, because Miami, it was all dry the whole time around, then it started getting a little bit, the clouds started spinning a little bit in the final 2 or 3 laps or so, and it didn't really change anything up. But this time around, it does seem like we may end up getting a very wet ending, which we can only imagine that's going to create some potential mayhem at the end here, and it wouldn't surprise me if someone could possibly surprise us all and come out with a victory completely unexpected, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Indeed so. Meanwhile, we're watching Colby Luca's feed, but there was actually a more interesting development potentially happening up ahead, as it looks like we've got a battle for the lead here shaping up between our current race leader, Robert Narakaj, and Darcy Ford, as Ford is well within a second of them as they come into turn 1 to begin lap number 22 of 36. And now back up the hill, there's another DRS zone here at Red Bull Ring. And of course that climb into the braking point, that's where you can really make up some time. It looks like Luca briefly made up a bit, which again he'll need with that 3-second time penalty in place.
Oh,
so
boy.
we'll quickly reset the top
Oh, boy,
5,
safety
and
car.
Mason Pope's out.
The pole sitter's out.
And
Wow.
this is, I think this is full safety car, no? Yeah, safety car
That is a
cue.
full safety car.
Yeah, we came in to the broadcast as that other VSC that you were talking about turned into the full safety car. So that was about the time we went live. So I think we've probably spent more time under safety car conditions than we have actually racing. As we see Ford and Luca both dipping into pit lane.
We went from witnessing Mason Pope miss Bahrain, then he won back-to-back races in Portugal and Miami. Then he goes on to finish 10th in Canada, and then in the UK he goes on to finish only 8th. So he went from on basically a Max Verstappen winning spree to all of a sudden kind of as if it's kind of like a Ferrari situation almost. So yeah, rather not good for Mason Pope, who again got off to a great start to the season, albeit missing one race. But now it's been a lot of poor luck for a guy who you would think there'd be a lot better expectations for him, but unfortunately it just has not gone his way.
Yeah, speculation based on what's just come through the Facebook chat. I think it is related to that damage that you were alluding to in the first corner after that slightly chaotic start. Ultimately, I think that may have been ultimately what did the Rum Runners Racing driver in. And as a result, we've had a few drivers come in, and with the way the order's kind of shaken up, it's Corbin McCauley who's right behind the safety car here. So on track, he's the leader, but he's got a 3-second time penalty, as does Cody Cudmore in second. So your net leader coming out of this will be Jason Butler, it would appear.
Interesting stuff there, yeah. And again on McCauley too, he only qualified 5th, but whenever lights out and away we go, all that happened. Mason Pope didn't get the greatest start, like I mentioned earlier. McCauley was able to get his way all the way up to like the 3rd place or something there, and then of course he and Butler kind of got into something there with Mason Pope, and someone even got into the rear end of Pope. So kind of a 4-car incident there where only 1 car unfortunately happened to be Pope went around, and then McCauley making his way up, time penalty screwing him over, and now he still has a time penalty, but he does appear to be in 1st place right now, although that could change like you've said here with Jason Butler being the leader because of said time penalties. So kind of a roller coaster so far for him. Again, there's still time for things to shake up. He's shown the speed. Again, we have a doubleheader going on tonight, so there is a chance to rebound in Hungary later on. So, but again, though, we're still here. So, yeah.
Indeed we are, and we're on lap 24 now. No indication just yet of the safety car coming in. I think it was around this time, the previous instance of the full field safety car, that we got the notice of it. But we'll see if maybe there's one more lap. And here we go, getting word. I don't know if you're listening to your feed on the other side of your wall there, Reegs. It sure sounds like the weather's starting.
Yeah, the raindrops do seem... There might be some visible raindrops, although probably isn't the best to tell what the quality of the streams we're getting. No offense to the drivers, obviously, it's just the way it is there. But yeah, we're definitely preparing for a crazy finish here. I can only imagine.
And they're going to stay out for one more lap at least, or is the safety car, I should say. So that'll take us to lap 25. And notably out of the top 5, both McCauley and Cody Cudmore are on the hard tires, the white stripe. Butler, Narakaj, and Colby Luca all on the mediums. That's 3, 4, 5.
McCauley and Cudmore looking to try and get the long-term advantage there at the longer-lasting hard tire compounds, and then the mediums, of course, you'll be faster for a couple laps, but then again, they'll end up wearing off a little bit more. So we'll definitely see the strategies come into play here within these final 11 laps, whatever it may be, especially with the rain coming in. So just a mixture of different tire compound strategies, figuring out how to deal with the rain. I'm sure Macaulay definitely doesn't want to get screwed over, considering those spins he had on that one lap earlier in the first half of the race. And also the time penalties as well. So we're just getting kind of a combination of things. It's been a very eventful Grand Prix.
Too long. Like I said, I can see raindrops
right now
nonstop,
only just tuning in through the second half.
I'll probably put on like lap 28 for the inters.
And speaking of different strategies, we talked about what the top 5 we're doing. Sixth place, Darcy Ford is on softs, albeit with a 5-second time penalty of his own. While 7th place, Roman Furchi is on the hards. He's got 3 seconds of penalties to deal with himself. And looks like that's probably the furthest we're going to get. I don't know if anyone else is actually streaming, so we're doing our best to get you that info, along with the info that the safety car is in this lap. As you're seeing on your screen right about now. So let's go ahead and bring it back up to the head of the field, where it's the number 71 Red Dirt Racing driver Corbin Macaulay controlling the field. But again, Jason Butler's actually come into pit lane here. So that's interesting. I wonder if that is a weather related thing, but that is just awful timing there for Butler. We'll have to see what he's doing though. Let's go ahead and look at this pit stop. Let's see what he's got. That sure looks like intermediates to me there, Riggs.
Okay, trying to capitalize early on a potential rain tire strategy right there. And looking at Colby Lucas' stream right here, he just got past Robert Narakaj for 3rd place. Aside from the time penalties, now looking to get past Cody Cudmore for the let's call it unofficial 2nd position for now. Narakaj is now fallen down to 5th place. Darcy Ford, like you said, on the small tire compound, or the soft, sorry, with the 5-second time penalty.
They are all the same size, believe it or not.
Yeah, I guess because of that, it's soft, medium, and hard. Whenever I hear medium, I immediately think of small and all small, all that and stuff. It can get confusing sometimes.
It's fair,
but yeah, it's just the way the mind will get those instinctive thoughts there on what the terms actually are.
Nope, that makes sense to me. And meanwhile, we're back up front with the aforementioned Corbin Macaulay. Lap 27 now of 36, and probably caught it on Jason Butler's stream. Positions 11 through 14 all went in on the intermediate tire, so that is Ivan Reynolds, Butler, Michael Dimitrov, and I didn't catch who else is in that mix.
We got an unofficial battle for the lead.
Oh, let's go right back to it. And unofficially, it would appear that Colby Luca's just taken it. Or am I watching... No, I may be watching the wrong stream. Oh no, battle between Macaulay and Luca. So slight delay between the two feeds, as it looks like Macaulay has emerged with the unofficial lead.
There's a raindrop. I'm seeing a raindrop on Macaulay's stream. Oh, and Luca. Luca down pit lane.
Okay, so there's the move made. And so Macaulay's going to brave it. And so let's go back to Macaulay's feed. As you would have just seen, ran wide through turn 1, it would appear. He's got Darcy Ford all over the back of him now as they come up the hill. Ford taking a look up the inside. And that is job done for Darcy Ford, albeit again with a 3-second time penalty of his own. And I think that still makes him the net leader of this, because Ty Higginbotham is 3.37 seconds back, and he's the first one who doesn't have a time penalty.
Looks like Macaulay will be boxing in this lap, and it appeared a car went around there up the hill and into that little tight corner there. Looks good now, but it appears Macaulay will be heading down the pit lane now. And
There he goes. So that's going to give Darcy Ford the unofficial lead in this one. As again, it looks like the drivers who came in for the intermediates during that last safety car, they may come out in the catbird seat here, so to speak. As Luca's navigating here, completing another lap. And on to lap 29 of 36, so 8 to go for those counting at home. And so, the drivers that we've got on our stream, as you see, Jason Butler, who we're with right now, is 13th. Luca is in 10th. And let's see, where did Corbin McCauley rejoin? He's out in 9th. And again, a few time penalties to account for as well. And, geez, for a minute there, I thought McCauley was going to come in again. Because I saw another pit window up on his stream. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how this all shakes out. Again, I wish I had a view of the front of the field right now. But again, nobody's close enough to give me a top 5. But we'll have to see if that changes here over the next 7 laps. As we're on to lap 30 here now.
All I can tell you right now is the raindrops appear to be getting a little bit more significant and intense. So we might see the front cars actually might have to make some hefty decisions here, or they might just stick it out and hope they don't end up like Lando Norris in Russia.
Yeah, that's a very apt comparison here.
A depressing one.
Also, yes. Yeah, no, not what he was looking for, to say the very least. As again, we are trying our best to get back up the field here. We might need some of our drivers to actually get back up the field, for lack of a better term.
Oh, the crossover. McCauley. Woo.
Oh, yeah, they call that one the switcheroo, do they not? Or the old switcheroo?
In NASCAR terms, they call it the crossover, so I guess you could put it in Formula 1 as well, which makes sense.
Meanwhile, Colby Luca's just gotten by Ivan Reynolds here as well, as it was Reynolds that McCauley put the move on. As they begin lap number 31 now of 36.
Oh, McCauley went wide.
Yeah, he sure did. There's the look at it from Luca's onboard. As we'll see McCauley going up the hill here now. Looks like he navigated that right-hander with ease as he tries to track down Mike Greathouse for 7th. Of course, he does have Colby Luca right on his tail here now. Important thing to note, of course, with wet weather, no DRS either. So there's also that consideration. As I take a look down the field, is that showing Robert Narakaj on mediums? It sure is. Down there in 10th. He's decided to try and stick this one out. Just to see if maybe the rain passes. In the next couple minutes, people try to pivot to dries.
But making the pass there on, that would be Michael
Greathouse.
Yeah, Michael Greathouse. Again, unofficial at the time penalties, but makes another move there. And that'll be Darcy Cudmore right there in 6th place. And then...
Oh, McCauley's super wide there out of 1.
Yeah, McCauley's struggling through the first turn there, it seems. Like the past lap, he went wide there. He was a little bit loose, and now he's got the company coming back up as Colby Luca will look to try to make his own crossover move right here. Luca did get a little bit close behind the rear of McCauley on the last lap as well. McCauley probably looking, I wouldn't be surprised if McCauley looked in his mirror and probably may have gotten a little bit brown down there. So,
and he did go into that turn on the inside as well. So, obviously, you know, hard to get the car quite the same exit whenever you're going in that tight to the apex. But Macaulay made it work. He's still got Luca tucked behind him as they're about to come up to the end of lap 32, which will put us at 4 laps remaining in this one. And again, it'll be an interesting exercise to see just who's up at the head of the field here right now. Certainly a guy we haven't really talked about would be, in a little bit anyway, would be Darcy Ford and his Atlantic Motorsports teammate Ty Higginbotham. So you have to figure they're in that top 5 somewhere.
That would definitely be good for someone like Ty Higginbotham, who currently sits 11th in the standings after the British Grand Prix. His finishes have so far come through in 11th, didn't even start one race, 6th, 11th, and he finished 9th in the British Grand Prix. So if it happens to be the case that he is on the podium right now, at least without a time penalty, well, we won't know just yet about that, then that will definitely be progression for him and even along with teammate Darcy Ford. So this could definitely, as the results will eventually shake up here in the next couple laps, we'll maybe see Atlantic Motorsports coming out with a very solid first race of the 2 doubleheaders tonight, which, yeah, I can only imagine my sleep in particular, my time zone is probably going to be extremely affected by this sort of a situation, but
yeah,
at the same time, though, it's just a sacrifice. It's commentating motorsports on a quote-unquote school night, whatever.
Oh yeah,
still commentating motorsports. It's cool. Whatever.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
That's what we want to hear. As
exactly.
Again, this is a battle for 7th place you're seeing, and really it's straight up between Macaulay and Luca. You see Darcy Cudmore there in 6th, but he's got 6 seconds worth of time penalties, so right now, with that additional 3 seconds, he's not really a consideration to either driver you're seeing on the screen, as we're on lap 34 now.
In a nutshell, all of what we're seeing here is pretty much inaccurate.
Pretty much. Meanwhile, it looks like...
goodness, Macaulay got very loose on the curb there. Great save. He's been loose for the past couple of laps with this rain. It's trying to get at him, but he's not giving up. He even got a warning right there. Oh, and there's the penalty. Of course.
Okay, so, yep, there's the 6 seconds, as you say there now. 2 laps to go. And
the rain's not treating him well, even with wide in turn 1 right there. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
The roller coaster just keeps happening for him.
Speaking of not treating guys well, did we have a black dot disappear here? Because it looked like... Oh, no, it's tucked in behind the brown dot. So, not 100% sure who we're seeing up there. I think it's Darcy Ford. I'm just looking at the track map on Luca's feed to try and get this one right.
I think we can confirm that Atlantic Motorsports, both drivers will get on the podium, because right now... Oh, Cody Cudmore out.
Oh, yeah, there he goes. And that corner, is that going to be enough for another safety car to end this one?
Well, again,
no, it's not. We're back to green flag racing.
I was saying that Atlantic Motorsports, it appears they are definitely going to be first and second here, by the looks of it, with Daniel Cudmore 3rd place. So the only question is it Darcy Ford or Ty Higginbotham? I would personally think Ford, but we'll have to see here. Yeah,
that said, again, there is a brown dot ahead of the black one on this track map as we're on the final lap now. Just, again, trying to get a sense of all this here. So yeah, Cudmore 3rd, Andy Hurdle in 4th. That's a guy we haven't really talked about here tonight since we've come back on the air. And that dude's holding on with medium tires.
How about that?
Well, we say hanging on. Here's Macaulay right on the back of him. Let's see how long he hangs on for. Granted, it won't matter. Hurdle doesn't have any time penalties. Macaulay does. So, yeah, Higginbotham in 2nd. Now that we see Macaulay moving up to 4th. Yeah, I'd say this is looking like an Atlantic Motorsports 1-2 here right now. And
Sure,
we should
it
get an
does look like
indication of the winner. Yeah, there's your
Yeah, there it
winner,
is.
Darcy Ford.
How about that?
So Ford wins. Higginbotham will hold on to second with the medium tires. That is quite the drive there from the number 97, I have to say, especially with the weather changing. That's a formidable finish.
Yeah, and pretty good stuff there from Atlantic Motorsports. Darcy Ford and Corbin McCauley were tied for the points lead after the British Grand Prix, so this will definitely mean that Darcy Ford is going to most certainly extend his points lead heading into the Hungarian Grand Prix that we will eventually have very soon. Ty Higginbotham there with the second place finish. Definitely some progression for him after he's had some, I guess you could call it midfield finishes over the past couple 5 races, so definitely a lot of good progression for him. Daniel Cudmore wraps up the podium positions there. Andy Hurdle's been on a very good run the past 3 races, if you include this one.
Indeed.
Fourth in Canada, or let me see here. Yeah, 4th in Canada, and then got on the podium with a 3rd place finish at the British Grand Prix. So it's definitely been a very good run recently for Andy Hurdle, who got off to a bit of an iffy start. And we can see there as well, Corbin McCauley with the time penalties will finish 6th place, so not so bad for him. And what do you know, Andy Hurdle, driver of the day.
Sometimes you just got to kind of speak softly here, as Andy Hurdle did. Rather quiet 4th place.